Smaller, more practical as a daily wearer, and supporting a philanthropic mission. Blancpain builds upon the design of one of its most interesting dive watches with the new 50 Fathoms Tech BC4. The Blancpain 50 Fathoms is inarguably one of the most iconic dive watches ever made, and is easily Blancpain's best known model. Over the years, the Swiss brand has taken this tool watch in wildly different directions. Take the Bathyscaphe Complete Calendar Moonphase in ceramic, which manages to be both utilitarian and maximalist all at once. Or the monstrous X Fathoms, which features a 55.6mm case and a mechanical depth gauge. Another distinctive 50 Fathoms was the Tech Gombessa, released as the second act in a trio of watches celebrating the 50 Fathoms 70th anniversary in 2023. The Tech Gombessa was notable for having an interesting, almost lugless design, as well as a special hand that completes one full turn every 3 hours to time longer dives, with a corresponding 3-hour timing bezel to boot. It's a cool watch, but admittedly it's a rather specialised complication, and measuring 47mm in diameter, it's a tool watch that not everyone can pull off. However, the new 50 Fathoms Tech BOC4 takes the Tech Gombessa's appealing case design and shrinks it down to more daily wear proportions, while also returning to a more conventional dive watch format. So, let's get down to brass tacks. The Blancpain 50 Fathoms Tech BOC4 features a 45mm case made from grade 23 titanium. Due to its lower oxygen content, grade 23 titanium enjoys better biocompatibility, which is why it's favoured in surgery, compared to grade 5 titanium, which is much more commonly used in watchmaking. 45mm is not a small diameter by any means, but the Tech BOC4 actually wears smaller than that number suggests. Because it's got this pebble-like case with central lugs and an integrated strap, it looks like a smaller watch than it is on the wrist. That said, because of that central lug design, the first half a centimetre or so of strap doesn't fully articulate. However, it hugs the wrist, mitigating that problem. Because it's titanium, it's pleasantly light too. Unlike the Tech Gombessa, it features a standard unidirectional diving bezel with a subtly domed ceramic insert, which nicely frames the similarly subtly domed crystal. Also, its bezel is just one of the best I've ever used. It's quite loud and clicky, but in a very satisfying way. Another difference between the 50 Fathoms Tech BOC4 and the Tech Gombessa is that it also has a date window at 4:30. This, and the standard diving bezel, make it a much more useful daily tool watch. It retains a 300m water resistance rating, which is standard across the entire 50 Fathoms range, but it features a helium escape valve, which is atypical for a 50 Fathoms. Blancpain hasn't totally got rid of the Tech Gombessa's design cues for the Tech BOC4 though. They've just made them better. For example, the Tech BOC4 has numerals and indices made from solid blocks of superluminova, but rather than featuring a polarizing orange hue, they're a natural superluminova color, as are the bezel indications. The dial is the same absolute black color as its predecessor. Blancpain explains that this absolute black absorbs up to 97% of visible light, which helps the dial indications stand out in deeper waters. It's quite something to observe in real life. It's not quite as black hole-like as Vantablack, for example, but it's still utterly eye-catching. At some angles, the dial almost appears to be filled with oil, like some high-performance dive watches are. But nope, you've still got that nicely sweeping seconds hand. That's courtesy of the in-house caliber 1315A, which has a 5-day power reserve thanks to its 3 series coupled barrels, an anti-magnetic silicon hairspring, and a minimalist 18-karat gold rotor that exposes much of the movement underneath, which is a good thing, as it's very nicely finished, with subtle waves and beveling. Speaking of a good thing, you might be asking what the BOC4 part of this watch's name means. It stands for the Blancpain Ocean Commitment, and denotes that's the 4th special edition produced in support of this program. For the last 20 years, Blancpain has been funding and supporting ocean conservation efforts around the world through their ocean commitment. The BOC4 specifically supports the Sulubay Marine Research Centre in the Philippines, which Blancpain funded the construction of. This centre facilitates the study, restoration and protection of Shark Fin Bay, one of the most biodiverse marine areas in the world that's been damaged by unsustainable fishing practices. €1,000 from the proceeds of every 50 Fathoms Tech BOC4 will be donated to the Sulubay Marine Research Centre. Now here's a question. Do philanthropic exercises like this make you more likely to buy a watch, knowing that it supports a good cause? And what are some other causes that you think watchmakers should throw their weight behind? Let us know in the comments. The Blancpain 50 Fathoms Tech BOC4 is a limited edition of 100 pieces and retails for $21,300. Hey, thanks so much for watching this review. If you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel, which will help us keep producing more reviews like this going forward. Until next time, don't be a stranger.